So there we have it. Round 2 of the Rugby World Cup is done and dusted. And now all teams are played, it'd be interesting to know down in the comments who you think has performed the best and who you think are going to go on to win that Webb Ellis Trophy. Apologies in advance, as you can tell from my voice, I'm a little bit under the weather, but with the World Cup, we can't stop now. Fantasy is back, and I had a pretty decent round this round. So I actually scored more in round 2 than I did in round 1, where I scored 576. In this round, I scored 689 points, which, to be honest, I was really happy with. There were of course some standout fixtures like New Zealand, Namibia, Ireland, Tonga, and South Africa and Romania, who would have racked up so many points if you had picked the right players. Unfortunately for me, I did pick a few right players. If you are new around here and you are enjoying fantasy rugby, then please subscribe to the channel and join the community, comment down below. We reply to all comments, to be honest, so get involved, subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on to not miss a video. The first game of round 2 definitely didn't disappoint. New Zealand absolutely hammered Namibia 71-3, and to be honest, you could have picked a fair few of their players to get some good points. So in my team, I originally had Luke Jacobson, Sarvea and David Havili, but I did do a late change, switch Jacobson for Takiaho. I think maybe this was a wrong decision as I transferred out Dewey Lake, who eventually scored for Wales, but Takiaho was unlucky, got a disallowed try. But I also had Sarvea, who scored pretty well, to be honest, 41, you can't complain about that. But David Havili really did come through for me with 78 and getting over for a try late in the game as well. Obviously, I've missed out huge picks like Roygaard, who got man of the match, and then also Damien McKenzie. In the second game of the round, I also backed Samoa to do a job against Chile, and they did. So I actually picked 3 Samoan players in Alala Toa, James Lay and Theo McFarland. So the 2 props did okay, they both scored over 20 points, which, look, I guess you can't complain for a prop, they did their job, right? Nothing special, but I think that's about average, maybe just 60% above average for props in the game. But then Theo McFarland was pretty much a top performer for me in this round. He got a try assist, made 14 tackles, I think made quite a few metres as well with line breaks, so a really solid option, especially against that weakened Chile team. Then on to Wales versus Portugal, where I also backed Wales to do a pretty decent job here by picking 3 players. Originally, as we said earlier, I had Dewey Lake, who did score, but he did also come off pretty early. I switched him for Tommy Rafal, who I didn't manage to catch it, but actually got injured in the warm-up. Very frustratingly, we all know then Jack Morgan went on to score and get man of the match. I am quite disappointed with Dyer and Mason Grady. I would definitely back them again if the fixture was to be played, because it's Wales versus Portugal, right? So they should be dominating and their backs should be getting some pretty high scores. Next up was Ireland versus Tonga, and in this game I didn't back any Irish players, which was definitely a mistake looking back on it. Once again, Bundy Aki was a huge performer. I think he's almost got 200 points in total now. And once again, their star players like Sexton, Doris, Tygburn all performed and actually scored a try. So I'll definitely be looking to target Ireland. They have got South Africa, tough game up next, and obviously Scotland. But I think this round just shows that the number 1 team in the world, you just can't write them off. So they'll have to be in my team next time. My South African picks definitely saved me in this round. A 76-0 victory against Romania definitely boosted me up for round 2. So looking at my players, Quacker Smith actually had a really good game. He scored 26 points, which is, to be fair, disappointing. But he got so many turnovers, so I'm just thinking where those points actually came from. 3 turnovers, albeit didn't really have ball in hand that much, so maybe that's probably why his points are on the low side. However, looking at Grant Williams scoring 2 tries at scrum half, when that Roy guard happened on the opening night of round 2, I thought that I'd missed the boat, but Grant Williams scoring 71 points was pretty decent. And then my captain for this round was Makazole Mapimpi, scoring me 238 points. Any of you who triple captained him, which I know a few of you did, a huge congrats. It was an absolutely massive score. 119 points is absolutely crazy for just one game. He was always going to do it with obviously Aronsa looking to take his spot in that starting team. But a hat-trick and so many meters, beat so many defenders as well. Absolutely great performance from Mapimpi. Next up was Fiji versus Australia, which was a pretty tense game to be honest. Australia got a quick first try and looked to rattle Fiji, but to be fair to them, they eventually controlled the game and managed to see out. Tuisova started this game and picked up man of the match. I didn't actually pick any players here, and I predicted it was going to be a pretty tight game, so justifying why I didn't pick anyone here. In the final game of the round, I also didn't have any players, and supporting England, I probably think it's best not to have any players, because I can just watch the game and not have to back basically my fantasy picks as well as the team. But a pretty decent performance from England, getting that try bonus point right at the death. A really solid performance. Obviously their attack needs a lot of work, but George Ford got man of the match again. I would have probably said Ben Earl got it, but let me know down in the comments who your man of the match was. So that was my team for round 2, 689 points. I'm actually quite happy with it. Had a pretty ropey start with the New Zealand game not picking Roygaard or Mackenzie, and then the Welsh game having Rafal not even play, but South Africa really did boost it for me. I'm actually 59th in our JG Rugby League now. I think I actually went down this round, which I thought I had a pretty decent performance, but lots of you must have had other decent performances. I didn't use a booster, so that might have been why. And finally, I thought I'd share the dream team of the week, the people who have scored essentially the most points in fantasy. So as you can see, a lot of New Zealand players, but we do have Courtney Laws in there, and we do have a Portuguese second row, as well as a Chile prop. So it just shows that you can actually pick players from outside the top tier nations to get you really decent points. So thanks again for watching everyone. I'll see you in the next one for team selection for round 3.